So my presentation today is probably not so much related to building design, as I'm an accredited building designer, and I'm also the current chapter chairperson for the Newcastle BDAA chapter. But this is more about my secondary business, Rejuvenated Timbers. It sort of, I guess, started from a long time ago. We've sort of got, a bit of a family history, dating back about 180 years of timber cutting. Started with my first descendant arriving here in Australia. Arriving on the Woodbridge in 1838 in Sydney. And from there, they went from market gardening into timber cutting. They arrived as free settlers. And virtually every descendant from there to my father have cut timber or worked a sawmill or did bullock team driving. I even worked in my father's sawmill as well as a teenager. But now that I've had my own building design business and my own opportunity to do something in the timber realm, I've decided to start a business where I didn't cut timber down. I actually salvaged it, reclaimed it, repurposed it, and made stuff from recycled and reclaimed hardwoods. So I'm actually live feed in my timber shed today. So I'm not in my office. So you'll have to bear with me for any of the lighting above in the shed. It actually is LED lighting, so quite sustainable. And that's the approach that this business takes, is that we reuse everything that we bring into the shed. We have very little waste that goes out at all. So everything that comes off what we make will get recycled and used as a byproduct for something else within the business that we can on-sell to our customers. So so I don't have the flip on the phone working today because I am on the phone, so you'll have to bear with me. So I will pan the screen around so you won't see me at times. So if you're happy to bear with me, we'll get things moving. So I'm just doing a walk through my shed at the moment. You'll have to excuse the lighting overhead. It's quite bright, being LED, believe it or not. It's 6-7 meters in the air, but it is still quite bright. So I'll turn out of the way of that. So the first part of the business is firewood sales and kindling sales. I started that last year. We've been here in the shed for probably about 15 months. I started on a private property before that, and decided to move into a bigger shed, bigger space, my own rules, so to speak. But yeah, look, we basically recycle. Somebody from the United Kingdom ringing me. Look at that, I've reached the United Kingdom with this presentation already, great. So we salvage logs off people's properties that want them cleared, development sites. We try and keep to the local area as much as possible. That's the Lake Macquarie Central Coast area. That way we're not having to drive too far to source our supplies. Everything that we use in the business here is Australian hardwood. It's a good material to use, and obviously for heating purposes, it's the ideal way to heat, especially for people that don't have air conditioning and things like that. So I'm just going to pan around a little bit to show you some of the current timber that we've actually picked up last weekend from a property at Kersley, just out of our area here. So just bear with me. I'm just going to pan around. So I don't know if you can all see that or not, but that's a pile of mostly ironbarks. There's a few eucalypts amongst it. That's been blocked by the actual person that we got the timber from. He's been so happy to have that cleared from his property so that he can actually now start building his house. I'll just pan around again. So in the IBC cages here, you'll see some of the smaller timber that we've got as well. Now they'll go into our firewood bags. as well as our kindling bags. So we use the IBC cages to help dry the timber quicker. There's actually a set industry standard for selling firewood here in Australia. It's 25% moisture content or less. We very rarely let any timber out with more than 25% moisture content. It's just, you know, I try and stick to the industry standard. Happy clients at the end of the day. So I'll show you our kindling pile. So we quite often will salvage branches as well. As you can see, that's actually in a shipping container cutoff that we use for storing our timber in. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of branches there. So we'll actually cut those up with a drop saw and we'll bag those in our firewood or kindling bags. So with our firewood, excuse the light. So with our firewood, we use a 25-ton firewood splitter. So that's what we use there. That's our splitter. And that's what we split all of our firewood here in the shed. So everything's done on site. The only thing we do off site is sourcing the timber and cutting it up, blocking it into blockwood to bring back in the trailers into the shed to make it easier to handle in the shed. Okay, so that's the firewood part. The other part, the other two parts is that we reclaim hardwood timbers. So we reclaim anything from old fences, posts and beams, even old timber slabs that people want to get rid of. So we basically take those in, we clean them up, denail them, take out any bolts, clean them up, cut all the bad pieces off. All the bad pieces will get used in our kindling and firewood supplies. Any of the steel that we pull off the beams and posts and that, that'll all get put into a container that will build up over time, and we'll actually recycle that and take to the scrap metal place to be recycled as well. So also part of our byproduct off the timber splitter, other than our kindling and firewood bags, we also have mulch as well. Sorry, I'll watch the light. We actually have a lot of bark that we get off the timber that we split, as well as whatever drops on the floor underneath the splitter. I'm just going to pan and show you a couple of IBCs that we have filled with bark at the moment. So they're sitting there just drying out a bit to be put into our little splitter, if you can see that. That'll be our little shredder. And what we do with that after we shred that is that we have these nice yellow bags that we use, so it differentiates from the firewood. And as you can see, just scanning that, it's quite natural sort of mulch. So it's a mixture of bark, sawdust as well. So that'll be another part of what we will do as part of the business as well. I'll get to that in a moment. So with the hardwood beams and that, I mean, you can imagine what a hardwood beam, I suppose, would look like, but I will show you a couple of them that we have here that we've reclaimed. So as you can see, quite long. So we'll clean those up, we'll repurpose them, and yeah, on-sell those to customers. So that's that part of the business. And the other part that I'm really going to embrace as soon as I finish building the workshop, which will be later this year. So the shed's still a work in progress. Rome wasn't built in a day, so my shed's taking time to put together. As I'm quite busy with my building design, this is sort of on the side, so I do what I can with the time that I have. But this is the creative side that I'm looking forward to doing, and that's building rustic, unique hardwood furniture and furnishings. So I've got some examples of some items that I'm going to actually use in projects. These are items that people that I've picked these items up have asked me what I'm going to use them for, but I've told them and they just didn't believe me that I could actually do that with these items. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a tour and show you some of the items that I'm actually going to use in some upcoming projects. So just stay with me. So as you can see there, there's 4 bar stools, and also a beer keg. You asked me, a beer keg. What am I going to do with a beer keg and 4 bar stools? Well, I'm actually going to make a outdoor undercover setting. The beer keg will be used as a ice storage, like a mini esky. So I'll cut a door into the side to put ice in it. You can put your beer or whatever other drinks you have. It'll have a nice round timber tabletop that I'll cut, for wine glass holding or beer bottles, and have a tap on the bottom to let the ice out at a later date. So here is a lamp, as you can see, which I've picked up for free. Some of this stuff I pick up off the side of the road if I'm driving by and I notice it. Some other stuff, people just get rid of it for free on Marketplace, which is our like Facebook sales. This particular lamp, what I will do with it is I will use timber palings. It'll be an actual proper corner lamp shade stand in the corner. The lamp shade cover I'll remove, and I will actually use palings in place, sanded down palings in place of the actual lampshade itself. The gentleman up the end of the complex here has a timber CNC router, which we've already come to some terms about, some work he'll do for me, and we'll actually route some shapes out of those palings as well, so you get that nice light feature coming through. So another item is old speaker stands. The lady couldn't believe what I told her what I'm going to make out of those. I'm actually going to make a hall stand out of them. So a nice timber top across the top and a slung under shelf with a divider in it, and clean up the framework. And otherwise they would have been thrown out to waste. So a lot of the stuff that I get is thrown out to go to landfill. So I try and salvage things like that if I can. Try and reduce, some landfill and help with, my offsetting of my carbon footprint from whatever other things I do outside the business. So so I'm going to take you on a little walk up to the top of the shed. So you have to excuse me. I'm climbing a ladder right now, as you can see. I'm going up to a mezzanine floor level, which we have a lot of timber stored on at the moment. So I'm just going to pan this around. As you can see, there's a lot of reclaimed hardwood palings. Got some posts there. Excuse the shadowing. We have a lot of beams here as well that I've salvaged. Believe it or not, these ones here that I've got my foot on, we're actually out of a pergola, not too far away from here. I'm actually up here at the moment. I'm just really looking forward to getting into this business as it grows. That's it from me. If you have any questions, please ask.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. That's magnificent. We've got a lot of people online today. We've got quite a few students. Just want to have a big shout out to the students. I can see that Beck, one of the new students, has reached out, and it's really good to see so many students on today as well and learning a lot, they tell me, or they're putting in their posts. So, Jamie, that's fantastic. Obviously, you're doing your bit for the environment.
Trying to be a bit sustainable.
Yep. So obviously you're building furniture now for all of your clients as well. So it's not only a design service, but the furniture service as well. And if anyone's got timber, perhaps, they could reach out to you if they're wanting to get rid of some of the timber or bits and pieces that you might be able to utilize, Jamie, in the area.
Absolutely.
How far away can these people be? Because you're happy to take quality timbers, aren't you? Because it's going to be repurposed.
Of course, absolutely. Even timber that isn't quite cutting the grade for furniture grade, we do use it in other projects like mirror frames, like any old palings that aren't quite, A grade, we'll use for mirror frames. And any that don't cut the mustard, we'll actually use in our firewood business as well. So everything will get reused, basically.
Perfect.
We try not to waste anything. Like I've only got a 660 litre waste bin, and I'm lucky to get it collected once every 3 months. So,
oh wow! Okay.
So we try and reduce everything that comes out of the shed.
That's really, really good. Now, we've had a question from Larissa. Can you please mention again where you're based?
I'm based in Coorambong.
Give us
Which is
some
like Macquarie,
examples of where that's near.
Morisset, Toronto, southwest Lake Macquarie.
Perfect.
It's just near the M1 motorway.
So thank you, Jamie. We've got so we've put up the post for your contact details there. So if anyone wants to reach out to Jamie, it's in the chat. We've got a question from Jeremy. This is to the membership. We're looking for a couple of students to participate in the sustainability and climate community and committee. So if anybody out there is a student and wants to get involved, please reach out to myself, ceo@bdaa.com.au. That's ceo@bdaa.com.au, and I'll put you through. Jamie, thanks once again.
No worries.
And we look forward to hearing more about it as I guess the business grows.
Well, I'm hoping to be back next year to show you the progress of the shed and to show you what we do. I'll have the showroom all set up with some things on display as well.
Perfect. We've locked you in then. We'll see you in 2022. Next year's
Done.
International Building Designer Day. So thanks again, Jamie.
Awesome.